So this is Ines Honfi. I think she's from Holland. And this is the depiction. And you can see that the subtle bliss and also the intense ecstasy in this painting. So we call this archetype the sensual. It has a special relationship to the 29, the water goddess. And it also has a special relationship through that, I believe, to the fire starter. Because when we have bliss, there has to be that kind of new element that is a combination of water and fire in some way. That's Shakti. In transit from September 21st to September 26th, that's why we're in the last line right now. This is in the I Ching, the hexagram of pushing upwards. The shadow frequency is seriousness. The Siddhic frequency, as we said, is ecstasy. And the human pathway that is bridging seriousness to ecstasy and back again is the pathway of the light. And in an I Ching sense, we are here in the very beginning of this eighth of the wheel that has the wind trigram on the bottom. So it has open yin, and then it has, or actually wait, it has two yang lines on the bottom, and then the top is open yin. And this one specifically has earth over wind. So quite feminine, right? Earth and wind is what it feels like. So wind over wind is the same as saying Jinki 57. Earth over earth is the same as saying Jinki 2. So 46 is this combination. Maybe you saw my post yesterday where I'm kind of speaking to this in my own chart, where 46 is my EQ, 2 is my life's work, 57 is my vocation, and also my Saturn on the personality side. So this braid is like kind of my life exponentially, I guess. So the shadow here, seriousness, is dislocation through unease. Gift frequency, the light is orientation through intuition. And the Siddhi, ecstasy, is unity through clarity. And I feel like so much of my human pathway goes through that orientation based on intuition. And right now, I think my background is blurred. You can't see it, but I'm actually just arrived in France. I'm in one of those neighborhoods built in the 50s, so not super beautiful. But if you look like to both sides of the boulevard, you're going to see more modern on one side and more like old on the other side, like north, south, and north. And that kind of navigation. I also have the 44. So, being the grid worker that orients through intuition, and that it can be a true delight when we find ourselves with a 46 in the right place at the right time. But it could also be the opposite, in the wrong place at the wrong time, depending on if it's the true self that we allow the movement from, or the conditioning from a kind of simplified human design way of seeing it. When we're looking at gate 46 from an astrological perspective, we have this cusp between Virgo and Libra. And I can feel both. I can feel the priestess energy in the 46, which is part of the sensual, right? The more the Virgo, the mutable earth, or the priestess that can work with that human, messy sexual energy and not be tainted, still be virgin, but also this ability to harmonize, which can also be what we do through the act of making love, or the act of being central in ourselves. We come back to equanimity and to harmony in ourselves. So Virgo is the priestess, or the green man, service to spirit through devotion to sacred work. And then Libra, the partner, the peace bringer, and the diplomat, service to others through the pursuit of partnership and peace. And then we're looking at the quarter of duality. We're quite in the middle of it. And here we have, again, like we said before, more social in Leo that needs an audience. And then here we are in service in Virgo. Here we are in partnerships, long-term partnerships with Libra. And here we dare to merge with and go to those deeper places where there is a possibility for transformation and rebirth with the others. Very much where our purpose is fulfilled through that relating. And we are seeing the 46. It's living in that G center, connecting, like I said before, with the water goddess. And we're going to see later, this is part of sensing circuitry, but that's a little later. So the G center is about identity, direction, and love. And the frequency band from integral human design for this whole center is the shadow of inhibition and the city of dance and the pathways discovery in the G center. Interesting how everything has frequency band, right? And we call the gate determination, pushing upwards. And then we're pairing it here in this channel, part of sensing circuit. Once you're clear about making a commitment, you have to totally abandon yourself to it, releasing all expectations about the outcome. There is no such thing as success or failure, only continual discovery. So this is where we say yes to the abyss, where we say yes to everything that's going to feel in the temple, in the body. And, oh, actually, no, Ashley has to use the keywords are not for the G center. The keywords are for the channel. I don't know why they were on the other slide. But basically, when we have seriousness and half-heartedness, that's inhibition. When we have delight and commitment, that's discovery. And when we have ecstasy and emotion and devotion, that is the dance. So sensing circuits that we're going to see again later, where it's often not until after the experience that we really can make sense of it. In the moment, it's just so totally in it that we don't really see before or after whatsoever. It's just completely giving ourselves, surrendering to the experience. And here you see the other part of the wheel. So the cusp between Libra and Virgo. On the other side is the cusp between Aries and Pisces. Opposites in the wheel. And then the 25 is also in the G center. So the 25 is in individual circuitry, connecting with the 51. And then the 46 is close, but pointing towards the sacral. And here we have the circuitry. So collective circuitry, it's creating wisdom as we're moving forward, as we are evolving. The keynote here is sharing the experience. And in the abstract part of this circuitry, so everything that you see that is black, that is more on the emotional side, more on the feminine abstract side, not logical, not understanding circuit, that's where there is no success or failure. It's the experience. And then here we can make sense of those abstract patterns that over time start to make sense to us. And then again, just the frequency band, seriousness, delight, and ecstasy. So from that, let's just take a look at where we are right now in the sky. So we are in the 6th line of the 46 in the third color. The third color is called desire. So always when we look at motivation, it's when we are looking at the personality, sun and earth, the line is the first decimal, and then the color is the next decimal. So here, color 3, it's called desire. And that's going to be another half day, more or less, we're going to be in this. And that's where the moon, that is now in gate 30, in 5 hours, it's going to move and be with Saturn in gate 55. So it can have felt like a bit future oriented, even a little bit not real. Like I've had people telling me, oh, it's something that doesn't feel real about this, whether it's very good or very bad, like something that feels a bit unreal, where the moon was going through Aquarius and making some aspects for the last 2.5 days. And now in the next 2.5 days, the moon is going to first meet up with Saturn in gate 55. And Saturn is kind of those limitations. Saturn, we say it never rests. It's not about quick results in any way, but it actually consistently works all the time. And it evaluates. So it can feel like some kind of work and limitation that's there because it's like it's never done, it never rests. And then the moon comes there and it brings more of that subjective experience and also the emotions. And they coming together in the gate of either victimization or freedom. So from today to tomorrow, that is a powerful energy. And we have the sun that's moving on from 46 to 18. So what are you going to do with the mind? The 18 is the key that codes for our EQ for all of us. IQ, sorry, for all of us. So it's very connected to how we think, how we judge, the opinions that we have. So what's going to happen when your subjective reality is touched by this frequency band from victimization to freedom? How are you going to experience that? How are you going to judge it? How are you going to know that it's perfect, which is the higher frequency of the 18? So the sun is now in Libra. We were in the gate that is the cusp, but now it's going into Libra, where we also have both the South Node and Mars. And anything else, we can see in this body graph that we have a lot of emotional energy activated, and we also have quite a lot of G center energy activated right now, but also a lot of openness where things are moving through. I think we all can feel a little bit more movement since Mercury went direct, especially Mercury still being like home in the sign of Virgo. So there is definitely a little bit more, even if the outer planets are still there can be a sense of moving forward, even if actually not so much is happening. So I actually don't know. Are we maybe supposed to even speak about the next gate as well, the 18? So I guess let's invite the 18 if he wants to come in. I was sitting, we just had the body call with the inner circle with Deborah and Larissa, and I was saying the experience in my awareness in my being of that 46.6 in a taxi that was very quiet. I don't know how, I don't think it was electrical, but it was very quiet at 4:45 in the morning for like 50 minutes. And I was just sitting there, not really aware, like not really creating spinal breathing, how you move up the spine and down the front of your body, but still kind of naturally just circulating the energy that way and just feeling the subtlety of that bliss that can live in us when it's quiet enough around us to listen to it. And actually I couldn't help but comparing that to other trips, bringing the 18 to the airport that have been spoiled because I was way too stressed, or everything before that had been, rushing to get somewhere. But how even when we are on the way somewhere, which would be that second gene key together with a 57, even when we are orienting somewhere with the wind, there can still be a delight if we are enough home. And I feel like that can be part of the inquiry for this call today, how to open for the light in every moment, even as we're sitting here. What does your breath need to do? What does your body need to do? Is there any movement that needs to happen in your being for you to feel more lightness, more delight in this moment? And how to share that beauty, like that energy with other people. And definitely for me, thinking about the 46 and its programming partner, those are such beautiful keys to touch the other with and give them the opportunity to open up to more innocence, open up to more delight, right? So how are we embodying these to then touch the world through our G center, where everything is held together in some way in this reality, that magnetic monopole. So yeah, what's moving? And like I said, feel free to bring in the 18 as well, and any kind of Venus related, that being in the beginning of that Eden loop and reclaiming the parts from the mental to the emotional to the physical to the spiritual through the IQ, the EQ, the SQ, and the core.